Hi, I'm Aniket Pal. I'm working as an integration development techie ECUP software solutions. Today we are going to learn about insights in the Runtime Manager. So let's get started. Insights are nothing but it is a troubleshooting mechanism which will provide an in-depth visibility into the business transaction and the events of the Mule app. So it will track on the basis of custom business events, which will make use of a trackable fields, which are also known as KPIs. Now, by default, the transaction ID will be taken as the correlation ID. If we want to make use of custom transaction ID, then we need to go for transactional ID component. So inside dashboard, like it is a dashboard which offer an advanced search option in which we can search using the transaction ID, date, time, flow name, exception, processing time, business identifier. So these business identifier will be creating in the custom business events. Let's just jump to the implementation part. So here you can see I have created a basic Mule application. Here I've configured the listener and the path I've given, creative path is insights. Then after that, I'm having a start logger, which will indicate that the flow starts. After that, I'm making use of set transaction ID. It is a component which is a part of core module. Here you can see set transaction ID. So here in the set transaction ID, I'm setting the transaction ID as the ID which we are going to receive in the payload. So payload.id. After that, I'm making use of transform message here. So in this transform message, here you can see I'm having two different variable, ID and name. After that, I'm using the custom business event. So this custom business event, how I have configured here is, here I have given the event name as event start. So from here, the event starts mainly. I've given these two business identifier, which are nothing but the KPIs. Here you can see key performance indicators. So we need to create the KPIs as I've already created. So what we need to do is we need to click on the plus button, enlarge it, write the business identifier. So let's say transaction. So let's say we are going to receive the transaction date from the payload. So we are going to write the expression for that. So as I've already configured two different KPIs, so I don't require any other. After that, what I'm doing here is I'm sending the records to the Salesforce. So before that, it requires mapping. I've configured it as we are sending one record at a time. So for the Salesforce, I'm making use of Salesforce custom object, which is purchase underscore details. Now for that records, we have configured it as payload as the mapping is done earlier. After that, I'm using a transform message to convert the response back into the JSON format. So here you can see the MIME type as application/JSON. So there are some scenarios where the Salesforce will not directly give the error. It will give us a success response with a status code 200. But there may be some exceptions due to which the record has been not inserted or created into the Salesforce, due to which we are making use of this choice component here. So in this choice component, in the when condition, I've given it as the exception is null or not. If it is not a null, then this custom business event will execute. And here you can see I've added one more KPI, which is status. Now the status has a value as success. Once this execute, which means our transaction has been success. If that there is an exception, at that time raise error will execute. And due to this raise error, the control will come to the or continue. Now in the or continue, we are having one more custom business event where you can see I've given the status as failure and error.detailed description. So this was the overview of the application. We'll deploy the application to the cloud. So how to enable the insights, we'll see in the runtime manager. So this is the application we are deploying to the Cloud Hub. We need to select Cloud Hub. Now in the Insight section here, we need to select metadata. So here there's a checkbox. We need to click on the checkbox. Yes, I understand. Then apply changes. Then we need to deploy the application. So here you can see the application is deployed with the name Insights TikTok. Now we need to get the URL for that. We'll paste the URL here. Now we'll add the body for that. So here you can see we got a 200 success response with the exception null. We need to go back to the runtime manager and check. So here we can see one transaction is there with the ID 102 because we have made use of set transaction component. And after that, status is completed, processing time, which is in milliseconds, and the date along with the time. So here you can see the metadata has been generated. Now, for the custom business event, we've made use of two different KPIs, customer ID and customer name. So these are the trackable fields which we made use of. If we scroll down and we'll see, so here we can see the status as success, which means our transaction got successful. Now let's see in case of error. So we'll get one more request. Here you can see we got an exception duplicate value. As 102 is already there, we need to go back to the insights. As like it may take some time to reflect the transaction, so we need to wait. So here you can see 102 again, ID. Status is failed, processing time 1097 milliseconds. And if you check the metadata, here customer ID, customer name, we have configured the event start. Now in the error handling part, what do we need to see here? Yes, we have configured the status as failure along with the error. So there's some issue with the field. Now if we click here, you can see the entire exception what is generated. Yeah, here we can see the transaction ID 102, which is failed, processing time 863 milliseconds, the date and time. So here we can see the customer ID and the customer name, which we gave in the event start. And for the fail, we have given with the error and the status as failure. So here we can see the exception. And now come to the advanced search option in the Insights dashboard. Here we can filter on the basis of transaction ID, date and time, flow name, exception, processing time, business data. And on the right hand side, we are having any completed field. So for now, we'll go with the status. Status is success. We'll click on apply. Here you can see one transaction found. We'll scroll down. Here you can see the status as success. Similarly, like we can filter out on the other conditions as well. So let's move on to the limitations of the insights. There are some limitations of the insights, which I've listed down here. In a Mule application, many custom business events can be defined and it does not provide support for long running process, which is having 10,000 events per transaction like Bash Plus. It will process the transaction in your application for 30 days, and it is not recommended to have in the production environment as it can impact the data processing, performance, and the memory consumption. So that's it for today's video. If you feel the video was informative, please like, share, and subscribe.